Welcome back everybody, thanks for tuning in. Today we're jumping back into the Beamer. We need to get this thing more stripped down so we can start working on this body. Where we ended up last video was we got the engine out, we got the gearbox out and started cleaning all of that stuff up. Is looking really pretty tidy other than the rust up there, so I think this episode we're going to get into that rust, try and stop it, annihilate it, that piece down the bottom as well. Well then, my plan is I'm going to start pulling everything off. I want to get the wipers off, the little trim pieces, the mirrors, all the side molding, bumper bar, headlights, all that kind of stuff. I've got some tubs. I'm going to pull everything off that I can that's going to make this bodywork a lot easier. I think I'll probably have to get in, I'll pull the handles out. I'm going to leave the sunroof. So we do have another sunroof to chuck in this thing. This thing, as you can tell here, is just really bad to wear. It's starting to have a bit of rust in it. I think the same on the other side and a few other spots. So that needs to be worked on, but I'm thinking we get all of this stuff off. We get the tail light, we get the boot spoiler off, we get the rear bumper off, we get the fuel flap off. All of that kind of stuff. We'll get these trim pieces off and really start diving into this thing, and then we can really hop into getting this thing prepped for bodywork. We have some dents and scrapes and bangs that we need to bodywork. We need that rust to sort out. So I think to start this, let's just dive straight into a time lapse. Let's pull all this stuff off, get it all tucked away in some boxes, and dive into this bodywork. Let's go. Okay, here we go guys. This thing is filthy. We need to clean it up. As you can see, just anywhere that the bumpers had been sitting and trim and everything else like that, it's just caked with dirt everywhere. So we are going to give this thing a really good clean. I need to get all this dirt off. I need to scrub it all down before we start with getting into this side you want to see, but before we get into doing any panel work or anything else like that, because the last thing you need is to smush this into sanding, making things worse. There's a bit of grease in there, there's some dirt, there's God knows what. And we want to clean this thing up so that we can then start on the panel work, start sanding this thing down. So, bit of a time lapse. I'm going to jump in here. I have some scrubbing brushes, I have some degreaser, and I'm going to scrub the hell out of this thing and make sure it's as clean as I can possibly get it before we take it back in the shed. Okay, there we go guys, it's looking so much nicer. As you can see, all the dirt and schmutz from down the front is gone, along the edges, it's all been stripped back as much as I think I probably need to. Maybe I'll do a bit more around the windows. I think when we paint it, we'll tie around the windscreens and the windows and everything else to make it really nice, and actually properly paint it without having to push the windows out. I don't think it's worth it for this kind of job. The rest of the paint is in really good condition. I just want to make it a little bit nicer and get rid of these dents. There's a couple up the front here, there's one here, there's the other few other little dots and bits and pieces. You can see another one here in this light. There's a number of hail dents on the roof we'll have to sort out. The passenger side door, because apparently whoever drove it can't park, so just like smash the passenger door up. But the rest of it is looking pretty nice. I do have a tiny little bit of rust down the back on the bottom lip and some around the boot seal that I'll have to sort out. But actually, let's show you that. So tucked a few little bits and pieces in here, but this is the rust. As you can see, it just sits between the seal on the back, a little bit worse up there, and then down the bottom edge, or like opposite where the exhaust comes out, there's a little bit of rust there I'll have to fix, but very minimal, and it should actually come out really nice with a little bit of a clean, some rust converter, and I'll have to probably chop it out. But yeah, the roof is looking pretty good. There is a few hail dents saying, but the rest of it is looking pretty good. I was in this episode going to get into the rust in that front corner, but I think I'm just running out of time. I'm not going to get there. So I think that's going to do, guys. I'm just running a little bit short on time, and we have smashed out quite a bit of work. It's all down to pretty much diving straight in now to some body work, hit this thing with some sandpaper, fix these dents up, and then hopefully get it to a booth, which would be awesome. We'll fix that rust up under the engine bay around the battery box, clean a few bits and pieces up, and get straight into it. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.